Joe, with Bo Becker taking, steps forward seemingly each week. I mean, from the first game he played in to now, I think he kind of looks like a different player. What do you think that year last year gave him? Because he didn't play. He was still going through it, I would think, going through the motions, going through practice. What do you feel like that year kind of gave him that you've seen this year?
Well, I think all freshmen sort of develop at their own sort of pace. I know everybody gets coached the same way. Everybody does the same things, and certain guys develop at their own rate. And sometimes it's a factor of where's the team at that point in time, and who's come along a little faster. And in Bo's case, it was, well, is he going to play forward or is he going to play center? And we knew Bo could shoot. The things that he's doing right now, we know he could do it, and ultimately in the end, he had a year of where he just stayed the course. I mean, he did it all at the beginning of this year when he wasn't playing the same. And then it was just one of those things where, the more he played forward, the more we kept saying, I don't know if we're going to see the things that he can do show up as much when he's playing sort of, that position versus he's the kind of guy who, if he plays center in our offense, I think you're going to see a lot more of his sort of his game, the things he can do. And, we were right about that. He was learning two spots, which is hard to do. Once we went to just one spot, I think sort of sped up his learning curve a little bit. And then obviously getting in games and getting game experience is really sped up his learning curve. But, another point in his favor is, just last week, after he's getting this experience and we're seeing things that teams are doing, we went to work on some individual skill work with him in certain situations. And we did it one day, and on the game on Friday night, he put that immediately to use in the game, which again shows, to your question, the ability to improve, that he's listening, and I just said to somebody yesterday, like the key to improvement is listening. If your coaches are telling you to do these things, the number one thing is if you listen and you do that, you find yourself improving, and he's really good, and that's a skill, and, you add that skill to his other skills, and you're seeing a guy develop, at the right time. I'm really hoping we continue to see that, because we also need to see that from some other guys right now as well.
I assume there was a pre-Lucas plan with him. You maybe had something in mind. Here's where we want him. Once that Lucas injury happened, how did that maybe change the plans you had originally had for Bo's development this year?
I mean, to be honest, I actually had in my mind all year from the beginning of the season and the beginning that, for our offense, we need a guy who can make a shot playing that spot. I mean, that's critical. So like I said, we had Bo doing both forward and center because somewhere in my mind I was saying at some point I felt that was really going to show up, that the way teams were playing us, the way that teams were playing defensively against our centers, that it was a very high likelihood we were going to have to go that direction. And it was just hard because, you had Lucas and you had Nick. We had somebody else as well at that juncture, and then you had Corbin and you had Bo, and it's like, okay, well, when you have five, it's hard to get reps for everybody at that. But that's where I give Bo credit, as he was having two positions thrown at him. Once we went to just one, the fact that he had some of that work, made him come along a little bit quicker. And obviously, like we said, I think the game experience is really, he's responded to the game experience, which in a very positive way, He's getting better game to game, and I think he's getting better because he's just playing more minutes, and he's getting more and more comfortable. So, like I said, hopefully that continues. And as I say that, well, we got to make sure that we get back some of the production we were getting before from the other center, who in that spot, because we were getting good production from both, whoever they were. We got to get back to that because that's going to be a key to us being able to continue, as we go through February, to keep growing and keep getting better.
We all see it almost every game. You play in one of the nation's better conferences for centers. I mean, whether it was Will Baker the other night, you had Namus Keita back in the day. I mean, you have all these names. What is the biggest challenge that this conference poses to a center from Air Force?
Well, obviously, it's always been, I think, what you just said, is there's going to be some size in this league. Tomorrow night, this kid, Cartier, I mean, he gets the ball, he scores, he's good. He's very good, and they know how to use him. So I think game to game, you face that no matter what. So one, it's the ability to sort of not have that affect you negatively. There's both sides of the court. You got to be able to fight in there defensively, and then you got to be able to get out on the offensive end, and you got to be able to perform on the offensive end. And I think that's really the key, because, okay, it's going to be a challenge tomorrow night. It was a challenge against Will Baker. I think we've done a much better job this year in that area across the board, whether it's Corbin, Bo, Nick. Like, our interior defense, I feel, has been better. People still try to take advantage, but it's been better. But the real trick is, as that it's happening, can you really make them worry down on the offensive end? And that's the thing where Bo, if he can keep developing, he's fighting him down there. He's doing the best he can. That's a team thing down there. And then you come down on offense, and they got to worry about him making three-point shots, and he drove around some guys the other day. He moves really well. He's hard to keep up with. That probably ultimately is the best defense against the size in this league, is having an offensive center who can really put pressure on them on the offensive end.
Coach, I think it's 2 techs in the last 4 games. It seems like, and I see it in these post games too, it's like you're very frustrated with the officiating. What are you hoping to maybe inspire when you maybe pick up one of those techs? What are you hoping to inspire from your team maybe? What are you looking to fight for in those moments? Because just suddenly it seems like more techs than usual, but the fouls have also been a little more lopsided than even before now.
It's nothing. The officiating is officiating. I'm not talking about the officiating. It's just, to your point, the facts are foul counts and foul shots, there's a disparity. So what I got to try to do is try to keep coaching our guys to do what you have to do to make improvements in those 2 areas. Like anything, we got to keep making our cuts strong, hard. Keep being physical in that area, so that and that's what we're coaching our guys to do. In the grand scheme of things, keep getting our guys to, get better at what we do, stand up for themselves, do what you have to do on both ends of the court. And at certain times, I think all coaches, fight for their guys in some way, shape, or form. That's my job. My job is to help our guys get better. Their job's to fight for us in Air Force, and my job is to fight for them during the course of a game. And in the grand scheme of things, that's all we're doing. We're going to keep doing that. I got to make sure my focus stays on our players and us getting better in those areas. And our players have to make sure that they stay focused on that. And if we do, I feel, pretty good. We played 33 consecutive minutes last game against Nevada, a very good team, like the way we got to play. 33 consecutive minutes. We didn't maintain it. Well, we got to keep knowing what our guys, we watch film, this is what it is. We did it. We got to get it to 35 minutes. You got to get it to 37 minutes, and I think our guys know that, and that's what we got to do tomorrow night. And if we do, then, like I said to our guys yesterday, this is a growth process, and growth processes, they don't go smoothly. You know what I mean? They're messy. They're tons of disappointment when you're growing. Tons of upside, tons of opportunity when you're growing. And what you got to do is keep working. Like I said to him, put pressure on yourself and us to get better at the things we know we're getting better at. Put pressure on yourself to be able to do it for 38 minutes and 37 minutes and keep doing it. The more you put pressure on there, relax, breathe, and believe. And that's really what I'm going to stress to our guys, is like really zero in now on that. And if you do, your work ethic and resilience is what makes you believe, right? And I think that's what we got to keep doing right now. And it will be hard to do with the teams we're playing, yeah. But our guys have been doing it, and we got to keep doing it, and we got to keep doing it no matter the circumstance.
Last time you guys played CSU, obviously that overtime period, it may have been some of the best offense you guys have played all year, just in that 5-minute overtime period. And that was kind of a springboard. It springboarded you onto a couple more wins, created this win streak. What exactly do you guys need to do to replicate that tomorrow, and then hopefully maybe set on another win streak? You know, you got YO coming up, you got New Mexico again, you have all these teams. Yeah. How do you use this CSU game again as a springboard?
Well, I think what we got to do is use Nevada, our last game, and then maybe even, our last 3 games we have to use. Our last 3 games at New Mexico, Boise State here, at Nevada. All top 30 teams in the country pretty much. We got to use those 3 games, and then I'll just bring up the Nevada game. Like I just said, 33 minutes, and our guys, we watched film of, okay, we are moving well. We are doing what we need to do. We're playing the way we need to play, and as we are, we're 2 for 12 on wide open threes. 2 for 12 on wide open threes during that stretch. And that's really the answer, because if you go back to the Colorado State game when you said we just played great offense or whatever, guess what? We made those shots. So Friday night, and our guys watched it on film, like, look at these open shots all the way up through the 33-minute mark, to the 7 minutes left in the game. And even, read us, it's 52-46 with 7 minutes and 20 seconds ago, and he's open with nobody within 17 feet of him. And you miss it. You want to use the game as a springboard. That's what I mean about, like, relax, breathe, believe, is keep doing what we've been doing. And if you keep doing it over and over and that becomes your habit, then you do relax, then you do breathe, then you do believe, and you do make those shots. And then that's the key to doing what you said, because then you produce the result you want, you do it again the next game. We need those to your point, we need that kind of experience. We need to keep doing what we're doing, keep having the resiliency and the work ethic, keep developing that habit. And if we do, then the belief will show up, and it'll show up in, making that open shot at that point in time. And in that game we did, so it's there. We just got to get to where it becomes a habit.